Hello and welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host Matt, and I am here with Dylan and Vivek for this episode of the show. The 2025-26 NBA season is officially complete, and for the first time since 1973, the New York Knicks are your NBA champions. We react and recap the phenomenal finals series between the Spurs and the Knicks, including what went wrong for the Spurs and how the Knicks became the Kings of New York. Today is June 15th, 2026, and this is episode 215 of the show.
Let's fucking go! Go New York, go New York, go!
What's the weather forecast looking like today? What are the skies?
It's looking orange and blue skies all day,
Whoa.
all week today.
Oh man. I don't know where that came from, but you've been saying that ever since game one. I feel like you just came it off the top of your dome. Like you saw that guy with the Kaushi mic. He had that what is it? Like my mayor Muslim, my bagel's Jewish, my
Christian
Dior, Nixon 4. But I think he stole that off an Instagram comment. Your shit is original, Dylan.
No, it's not actually. It's not. No, it's not. A lot of Knicks fans, like Spike Lee, they have like T-shirts that already said like orange and blue skies.
Oh, so you grifted that shit.
Yeah, I grifted that shit. But
Come on,
it is orange and blue skies all day.
He's citing his sources, though. I respect that.
That's true. Mm-hmm. I'll give you that respect. All right. Well, this is a Sports Counsel podcast. You know what we're here to do today. It's going to be basically a Knicks Glaze Fest. I brought along Vivek and Dillon, who both have been supporting the Knicks. Vivek was the only one who picked the Knicks in our finals prediction episode, and Dylan's been glazing the Knicks for a couple years now.
While. Every time they entered the playoffs, I would pick the Knicks.
Did you pick the Knicks at the start?
I don't think so. I don't know this season, but I remember last year and the year before. I think when, like for example, when the Knicks went against Philly the first time back in like 24, I was like, I'm gonna pick the Knicks, and then like Philly killed them. Then I think last year, I don't know if I picked them over the Pacers, but I think just how the Knicks were structured around Jalen Brunson and just be able to bring like his buddies from Villanova and just create that college atmosphere. It's really hard not to root for them in the finals.
Yeah. I mean, you've gained your reputation. Your reputation has come due. Knicks are finally the champions. Before we get into that, obviously, this is a Sports Counsel podcast. Make sure to follow our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. You can follow our social medias at sports_counsel. That's COUNSEL. And if you want to discuss with our community, with our analysts, you can go to our Discord. The link is in the bio to all of those social medias there. And once you join the Discord, you can talk with us, discuss the NBA Finals, discuss the upcoming NBA offseason. We'll be there. It was a fun time. It was fun NBA Finals, and we sure discussed the hell out of it within the community. So definitely join us with all of that. So once again, sports_counsel, join our Discord. But yeah, let's talk about it. We only have one agenda on the topic today. It's the NBA Finals. I think that, after all the anticipation, all the hype, it only lasted 2 weeks. And it was a pretty good series overall. The Knicks won the NBA Finals over the San Antonio Spurs in 5 games. I don't believe they were favored to win the series, but they managed to do it. And in 5 games, no less. Jalen Brunson is your Finals MVP with, I believe, a 43-point final game closeout in Game 5. Quick highlights here. The Spurs led in double digits in every single game and only won one of them. They lost the first 2 games at home, and that's when you kind of noticed, okay, Knicks pretty much got this. But then they lost Game 3, and then they came back in Game 4, and then they came back in Game 5, and the rest is history. So, first thoughts, first takes, first reactions. Now we're 2 days removed from our new New York Empire. The streets were on fire for a little bit, but I think they cleaned up pretty nicely afterwards. Shout out Zoran for that.
For me, I think that 5-game series was very entertaining as somewhat biased fan to the Knicks. But I think the Knicks earned it, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, the Spurs, as you said, Matt, the Spurs are leading double digits like pretty much every single game. But I think you got to give it up to the Knicks, like to Jalen. You got to give it to OG, Mikhail, Josh Hart, Cat, Big Purr, for being able to basically erase that deficit and be able to sneak out those wins when they really needed to. And I think that's just a testament of like their culture, of like what Knicks culture is right now. Because like I noticed after every single press conference, they're like how they approach each game. It's like they approach it as if they're starting off the series like it's 0-0, rather than thinking about like finals MVP or even thinking about just the victory parade or the celebration. They were pretty locked in my opinion, the entire time. And yeah, it wasn't like great every single game, but they were able to be able to figure it out along the way. And they were able to figure out along the way by making those adjustments. Like, for example, in I think game 4, like instead of using the standard starting lineup towards the second half, like Mike Brown was able
Alvarado
to use,
in, right?
Yeah, he used Alvarado and Jalen Brunson as two primary ball handlers, so it's easier for Brunson to like play off ball and like set his other teammates up rather than having to do everything himself. So I thought this was a good series overall, even though it didn't go to 7.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking, because I mean, I alluded to it, and it only took 2 weeks, 5 games. But I mean, those 5 games, every single one of them was kind of like in single digits within the last 2 minutes. I think the Knicks only pulled away in the first game, but then the rest of them, game 2 was basically a coin flip. Victor Wembanyama just missed that jumper. And then game 3, it was very close. Game 4, we all know what happened there. We'll probably discuss more about that. And then game 5, it basically, it was the last minute, and I think they won by like 4 or something. So very entertaining series, I have to say, for a series that ended in 5 games. Probably one of the most entertaining neutral series, as a true neutral, as a Warriors fan. I didn't really have a particular rooting interest. I kind of pulled for the Knicks, like I said in the last episode, but it was pretty good overall, and it was very entertaining. And I agree with you, Dylan. I think this is a matter of Knicks adjusting versus San Antonio not adjusting. But I also want to point out that the Knicks, I felt like we saw what they've been doing for like throughout the Eastern Conference, right? They were just destroying everybody, right? And they won like 13 straight games. And then I think against the Spurs, they just didn't play their best. I think there were times where they could have played a lot better. Like game 5, they were shooting under 30% from the field. So that they were not playing very well to start that game. And they were only down by 5. That's when I knew basically that game was over. It was wraps, because if you're going to shoot that bad in one half, they're going to come out, they're going to destroy you in the next half. That's exactly what they did. And I think it's a matter of just the Knicks playing not great, but I think honestly the Spurs really, really, I was so disappointed in the Spurs. They really choked that thing. Like, they choked it in game 4, obviously, when they blew a 29-point lead. They choked game 5, and they choked 2 games at home. You can't do that. They had 3 of the 5 games at home, and they lost all of them. I mean, you can't do that as a team. And, G's not on this podcast. He's a little bit sad, a little beaten up right now about the Spurs not making it.
Should have picked
all the way.
Knicks.
But he was clamoring basically that playoff inexperience doesn't matter for these guys because, sometimes teams just get it. Well, I think finally at this point, when they were at the finals, the Spurs' rookie inexperience really showed. Stephon Castle was turning the ball over. He wasn't getting any momentum or rhythm. Dylan Harper was basically the only, poised player. I think the most surprising thing is that the most veteran player, De'Aaron Fox, was probably like the most unraveled at that point. He was just like almost a detriment to the team. And Victor Wembanyama was even missing free throws, missing shots that, he really should make at that time. So it's a lot of rookie inexperience. I think that was the biggest thing that showed to me. I really think the Spurs blew it. I don't know if it's more of a Knicks victory or the Spurs really fucking choking this. That's up for debate for me.
It's always going to be a bit of both, but ultimately, the team that wins is the team that wins, right? A team that's able to come back from a 29-point deficit after the other team they were playing against shot an NBA record 14 threes and scored literally 80 points by the half. I was telling the people I was watching with that this game is pretty much over, secretly hoping for a comeback, but knowing cognitively, like from a logical standpoint, that the game was wraps. But as they were able to chip slowly by slowly, step by step, come back all the way down 29 just for an OG tip to come through and save the day, especially after that heart layup and that missed box out.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the turning points in my mind, that this was seemingly a team of destiny, that they had the mandate to win from a confidence standpoint, from a momentum standpoint. And momentum is really, really important. If you feel like you have the wind beneath your sails, basketball is a game of runs. And when you lose that many runs, it's really demoralizing and hard to come back. When you have a bad first few games, it's really hard to put the foot on the gas pedal and come back. And to that point, I think that Fox really started to unravel, like you were saying, Matt. But I also do want to call out that he was playing with that high ankle sprain, and a lot of his game was predicated around the drive, which he clearly didn't do. He didn't have his usual burst. He was settling for mid ranges and outside threes, a lot of outside threes, and that really was not his game at all. So while he was essentially another Finals MVP for the Knicks, I can't really say that he was at his full 100%. And I think that nuance deserves to be called out because while he did throw the games in many ways, he was a big part as to why the Spurs made it this far in the first place. And to talk about the Spurs a little bit more, you can clearly tell that experience does matter. I'm sorry, G. I told it to you. You didn't listen to it, me. I'm calling you out right now because you wanted to duck the smoke, brother. But I have to tell it to you. Experience does matter. Mitch Johnson got thoroughly outcoached in every step of the game. I really had no clue what his rotations were. And the only way those rotations made sense is if Castle and Harper, and especially Wemby, just didn't have the legs and the stamina to play that long. And I clearly think that's what happened. They just weren't able to put together that much runtime under their legs. Even though they're a young team, you can clearly tell that they were fatigued. They were selling for some bad shots. Wemby was always looking to just have a quick tip or a quick dunk and was settling for a lot of outside shots. And it doesn't really have a go-to move still. And Mitch Johnson made the mistake of playing Wemby outside the paint a lot. And that at that point, they're just able to attack the rim. And also, the really big thing that I noticed is that the rebound differential was highly in the Knicks' favor. They got so many second chance points. They were able to dominate the time and possession, while the Spurs just didn't really have any semblance of an offensive plan. I felt like it really was up to Champagny or even Vassell getting hot if they're able to open up the floor. If not, then you have to settle for a miracle Dylan Harper drive or some Steph Castle putback or a Wemby or a Fox three. And listen, those latter two, I don't really like that offense for them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I think they were talking about on the broadcast was the Knicks made the Spurs think a lot more. They weren't trying to make it a run and gun game because they know the Spurs are more younger, they're athletic, right? If you just let it be like just a back and forth kind of let's run, full court to full court, they're going to try to get some moves on you. Dylan Harper obviously has that layup package. When they are running, they don't have to think as much. But when they are just stationary, they have to think a little bit more. And you saw that, they were uncertain. They weren't able to kind of break down the Knicks defense as much. I think the weirdest thing about the Spurs offense is honestly the fact that the guards know how to drive, but they can't shoot. And the forwards don't know how to drive, and all they do is shoot. Vassell and Champagny, all they do is just shoot from the outside, and if they don't get that shot, they don't know what to do with the ball. It
really shuts down their offense too. I feel like it's always a litmus test on whether or not they can get the ball rolling and get hot from three, because it really stretches and opens up the whole floor for them. But if they're cold out of the gate, then the offense really starts to stagnate. And I think a really prime example of that's game 4 when they're on fire. I mean, they're on fire. They were playing out of their mind in that first half.
Yeah, and yeah, let's talk about that game 4, because I think that's probably the most pivotal game of the entire series, because you're up 29, they're on fire, they're shooting lights out, and then they're slowly starting to come back, right? I think this is the biggest indication of what Mitch Johnson... It's like he lost control, basically. He knew to take the patented Greg Popovich quick timeouts to stop the momentum, but it's like he didn't even say anything during them. Like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't keep shooting threes all the time because we don't need to necessarily stretch the lead out to, that much. We just need some buckets to keep on creating more possessions, making them having to take the next 20 seconds to make the next bucket, and then even it out. They just kept trying to shoot threes and shoot threes and shoot threes, and it's like they had no other game plan. And also the fact that they shot them so quickly, like the Knicks score a basket, then they get up the floor within like 4 seconds and try to shoot it, miss. Like, that doesn't even take any time off the clock. That's the biggest thing. And that kept allowing momentum to roll. And then Dylan Harper didn't even play most of the fourth quarter because he was the only one who's maintaining the lead for the team, because he was driving inside, he was shooting, mid ranges, he was, laying it up and in. Like, he was the only one who's a consistent engine on offense, and then Mitch Johnson doesn't even play him. Like, I think that was the most confusing part of the entire series for me, is like, trust your rookie, man. Trust the young men to do their job for you.
And I felt like he was using De'Aaron a lot in this series, even though he was like sucking hella ass.
Yeah.
Like even game 4, when everyone knows when there's 10 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter, De'Aaron Fox could have just ran out the clock and just burned time. But no, he wanted to lay it up. And you know what happened? OG happened. And because of that, it set up the game-winning play or the game-winning tip. And that's so disappointing coming from a, I think, 8-year vet. Like, that just can't happen, especially in the finals. And now, and Spurs traded you because of your expertise and like what you offer to the table. But because of that, like, it's just really disappointing. It's just how it just shows like how many times like kind of Spurs like shot themselves in the foot, in my opinion.
And that's not even an ankle injury part. Like, I know Vivek, I agree with you, the ankle injury probably bothers him. That's just a plain old decision-making thing. Like, sometimes he just had some bad turnovers, didn't make a lot of sense. Like, he just didn't show a lot of poise. Wemby, honestly, too. I was very disappointed in Wemby's performance, and I still think he's a great player. I still think he's very good, especially for a third year. He led his team to the finals, but this was very bad for him. Like, you can't say that this isn't gonna be something that affects his legacy, because right now he choked, I want to say, at least 3 of these games. He missed free throws in game 4. He turned that ball over. He bounced it off of Stephon Castle's butt in game 2, and then game 5 he also missed free throws. He also kind of wasn't doing enough. He wasn't aggressive. I think he had under 20 points in that game. So honestly, it was a very disappointing series for Wemby. I think it shows that he's still got a long way to go. Like, sometimes I see his layup package, like his plan on offense, he straight up just throws it up, and then like he's trying to get the rebound and lob it in, like Angel Reese would do. Like, he gets the rebounds and then he just tries to get it in again. Like, that's just not a very good plan of attack. You should plan to make it in the first time.
He's still a project offensively, and it's very clear to me that he's not used to the increased workload. He was only averaging just a hair over 30 minutes a game, but when you're expected to pretty much play all of the fourth quarter in extended periods of time, I just felt like he wasn't on the floor enough, and they were getting burned in the non-Wemby minutes even harder. And it just felt like Wemby was taking desperation threes early in the shot clock, even in that highly vaunted shot in OT or double OT against the Thunder. Like, not to be all Paul George and called a bad shot per se, but you do want to have a better offensive awareness to just not settle for the three, think about how to break the offense down a little bit. I'm essentially asking him to be more of a ball handler and someone that can break down an offense reliably. And look, that's not part of his game, especially with someone with his size. We don't even know if that's necessarily possible yet, but he's way ahead of schedule, in my opinion. He did have really bad plays, and I think he's still a huge work in progress offensively. And I think that's going to be something that he really needs to take to heart. And I think everyone knows the issues. You can't miss those free throws. You need to do a better job at slowing down the offense and settling for good shots rather than rushing. Those are going to be things that he and Castle and Harper will have to work on.
Those guys need to make their free throws straight up. Like, all of them missed free throws. Harper missed free throws.
You need to get rid of De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, that's probably a part of it. $200 million? Yeah, they need to get rid of him. I mean, also, to, add on to the part, like, the pressure wouldn't have been as big if, the bench wasn't so unplayable. Like, Keldon Johnson, 6th man of the year, 4.4 points per game.
Team USA.
Series. Team gone. He needs to be banished, basically, from San Antonio. I know he's the vet of the team. He's the captain. What happened to Harrison Barnes, by the way? Did he even play?
No, he's
got
there,
essentially no play
the
time.
bench.
I didn't even see him at the bench. Like,
let's think about it, right? They didn't really play their bench rotation, and to be fair, I wouldn't have called it that great. Like, I wasn't as hot on them as maybe others may have been, but it was Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Luke Cornett. Am I missing anyone?
Carter
There's
Bryant.
Kelly Olynyk.
All right, Kelly Olynyk.
Carter Bryant.
Yeah, I mentioned Carter, but
yeah,
I think they didn't really have people that could be spark plugs. And Keldon Johnson, I did mention that he was going to be a pivotal player because he was that guy that led the bench unit and looked really good during the regular season. But wow, he was awful. He was horrendous, man. I couldn't believe my eyes what I was seeing out there, man. Like he stunk it up like it was trash day, bro. It was, yeah.
Who stunk it up more, De'Aaron Fox or Keldon Johnson?
Damn, Dylan, you're gonna kill De'Aaron Fox.
He stunk it up more than like a national park's bathroom or latrine, man. It was putrid. I don't know what he was doing out there, man.
I think De'Aaron Fox is going to get a lot of shit, honestly. But this is actually just a total Spurs. Like, they all choked at this point. Like, what I'm going to remember, like, I think a lot of people are going to remember this series as the series that De'Aaron Fox gave to Mike Brown for the championship. But as a whole, coaching-wise, players, all of them, execution, everything was just basically bad on the Spurs. And that's not to discredit the Knicks, which, we should probably get back to talking about here. Like, they are a very good championship team. What impressed me the most, honestly, was how well they pass. Like, some of those passes were so fast, it reminded me of the beautiful game with the Spurs, ironically, in 2014. With the Warriors back then. Like, it's just total team basketball. Like you said, Dylan, totally selfless ball. Like, sometimes you get Mikal Bridges, he scored like 20 in game 2, and then you have Josh Hart scoring 20 in game 3, and you have Brunson scoring 40 in game 5, and it's like an OG in game 4 with, his huge performance. Like, every single member of that starting 5 can kill you at any time. And then you got random guys like, Shamet and Alvarado, which
Shamet
we didn't
played
even...
very well.
He did. I think he
That's
played
right,
well
G.
game
I
1
want
and 2,
you to hear
right?
that. I want you to hear this, G. Shamet was awesome. Remember when we were like, "Oh, who's the Shamet dude?" Whatever G was saying, man. Like, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Dude,
I know you dug the smoke for a reason, bro. I just know it. It's okay. But when it comes to basketball, dude, like, I would take my takes over yours every day of the week and twice on Sunday, bro.
Vivek, you showed up. You showed up last time. You showed up was the 2025 NBA Finals, and you show up 2026 NBA Finals. Make the right prediction, and you made the right prediction in 2025. I remember you picked the Thunder, and you didn't show up for a whole year, and then you show up again, pick the right Finals winner. Refuse.
I'm like
to
the
explain.
Avatar, dude. No, but I was even saying, I still remember y'all were like, "Oh, the Pacers weren't that good during the playoff preview episode last year." But I was like, the Pacers are low key the best team in the East post the All Star break. I'm telling you, Tyrese Halliburton was literally the Hollyban. He was wreaking havoc on the
Oh man.
entirety of the East, and they were so fantastic during that playoff series. They were so close to winning it all too, but people didn't put respect on their name early. I remember you guys, not to throw shit on you, Matt, you were like, "Oh, the Pacers aren't going to be that good. They're going to be a first or second round exit." And to be fair, I kind of just played into that, but I knew in the back of my head that people were sleeping massively on Halliburton and the Pacers. And this year, I told you guys that the Knicks, they were dominating, but you play against who's in front of you. And if you have a really great offense predicated on great ball movement, if you have a bunch of guys that knew how to play as the first option, only good things can happen.
Can't argue with that, honestly.
Experience matters, and size does matter too.
Does size matter?
If you have the right size around your alpha, around Brunson, yeah, it does matter.
So do you think that this is repeatable then in terms of like us? Because I think what the future storyline is going to be about is Jalen Brunson. Obviously, we heard that Becky Hammond comment from years ago where you can't win with a 1A as a 6'2" guard like Brunson was, right? He just proved them wrong. But I think in terms of my take, the discussion around it can't just be, hey, any 6'2" guard could just win a championship now as the 1A option. We're not saying like Trae Young can just do it on his own, right? Like stuff like that. I think you're basically going to need to build a complete team around him, right? Because
of course,
Brunson's not the guy
Yes.
who's also carrying the defensive load, right? That's going to be on OG and Mikal, right? He's got a big guy in Cat who can, who's honestly just a huge hybrid. He's kind of a unicorn on his own, the way he can shoot out there, right? And, he's big enough to defend all those guys. So, and, again, pretty good bench, pretty good coach. It took a lot of factors in order to make that happen. So I feel like, is it possible? It's obviously possible. But, you need a big, good team around him, and that's always been the case.
Yep, I
It's definitely
completely
personnel.
agree. And
It's
that's
all
the
comes down to
argument
personnel.
that I was mentioning too in the last episode. If Brunson were able to win, then this redefines the paradigm of how one team can draft. If you have a really good smaller guard, but he's able to connect the team and be that true point guard where everyone can play through him, but you have these tall, lanky wings and a great big, you can get away with it, right? And that's the point that I want to make. You can have that small guy be the closer and be the guy that brings that toughness and that edge. And there are more ways to think about basketball than to just have as many big guys as possible and just see whatever the heck works. And I think that's really exciting too, because you, anyone can play basketball, right? Like if you
Mm-hmm.
have what it takes to show up in tough positions, and if you bring something to the table that's really unique, I think it can work. Obviously, Steph has a shooting, but man, Jalen Brunson has that special toughness and great
Leadership.
footwork and that leadership and that poise, and those are all things that are special talents.
Yeah, and I think that's what initially drew me to Steph Curry, because I think obviously Isaiah Thomas came before him, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, all those guys, but Steph Curry really showed basically anyone can play basketball, anyone can dominate in the sport. And I think that's inspirational in a way that, we shouldn't just fit into the stereotype that, oh, you need this in order to win a championship, you need this, right? Anything else is basically a failure. And Jalen Brunson now is carrying that era and carrying that torch of, small guys can do it too. Size doesn't always matter. Obviously, there's some circumstances that might lead up to it, but it's not a total detriment to the team where it's like, okay, we're never going to win a championship with Brunson because he's too small, right? He just proved that. And I think that's
Right.
good for the NBA as a whole, especially when you're going up against a literal genetic athlete, like genetic freak of nature, the chosen kind of, chosen to play
The
NBA
alien.
basketball, right? Yeah. So I think that's a very good storyline to kind of show, David can beat Goliath.
And I think it's not just David beating Goliath, it's the whole team. Like, Brunson wasn't the 1A the entire series. There was a time where Mikhail was the 1A. There was a time where OG was the 1A. By the way, I was totally right on OG. If you look back at the previous episode, I told you guys he would have an amazing series, and boy, he was that and way more. Cat
I
was
thought
the
he
main
would
guy
win
too.
MVP.
I thought so
Yeah,
too, but
people
I mean,
thought he was going to
Brunson,
win MVP.
when you get 43 points, you get it.
Yeah, he carried the team and he willed them to victory quite literally, and he had that closeout, punch out performance. And so that's the beauty of basketball at its best. It's about a team effort. We aren't celebrating just Brunson, we're celebrating a whole freaking team. We're also celebrating Alvarado, for example, right? That's a special story as well. We're celebrating OG, we're celebrating Cat, we're celebrating Hart, we're celebrating Bridges. Those
Celebrating
stories
Landry.
matter as much. We're celebrating Landry, contrary to what some people want to believe. And so
Oh my
I
god.
think it's the best story, right? It's team basketball winning and winning through. In a story and in a league where it's always kind of a player dominant narrative, where it's always about, the Stephs and the LeBrons and the KDs, and people only focus on them. I mean, Steph won, grew team basketball, grew strength in numbers. And I really love this trend of basketball being about just a complete rotation where everyone from the first man all the way down to the eighth matter probably equally in terms of winning. It's a my turn, your turn league.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's discuss some of the tougher questions here. Is Jalen Brunson the greatest Knick of all time?
Yeah,
Is he
I
the
think
greatest?
so.
Yeah, I agree. He's the one that brought the Knicks a championship after 52 years, I believe. Or
53.
53 years. And no, I mean, there was players that came close, like Patrick Ewing, but he comes out on top because he's the one who brought it home.
Jalen Brunson is the king of New York. I think you can literally ask anyone in the city, even Mamdani, and they'll completely agree with you. The amount that he means to New York, from what I've heard, what I've seen, the culture that he set, the pay cut, obviously, but just his poise, his leadership, his ability to rally and be inspirational to everyone in the team and throughout the city. It's like a Derek Jeter like aura and presence, and he really has that, and that matters a lot. I think that you can't tell the story of New York as a franchise without Jalen Brunson. Delivering the Knicks a championship is something that people lost out hope for, and
Mhm.
he made the impossible happen. And it wasn't like a Mickey Mouse championship, like the Spurs are a legit team, and they played their hearts out. The amount of grit, the amount of poise, the amount of resilience. It's what New Yorkers enjoy, and he embodies and delivers that in spades. I mean, it's hard not to think of him as a folk hero.
I do love his unflappable nature. Like you said, Dylan, back in Game 4 when they won a 29-point comeback, greatest in NBA Finals history. Like, they didn't celebrate. They didn't cry on the field, floor. They didn't do anything crazy. They just went on to do the next game. That's when I thought, okay, well, these guys are ready. They're gonna. First of all, the Spurs were just emotionally destroyed after that. But second, once you have that killer nature, you show that killer instinct. Job's not finished. Like Mikal, he's already experienced, what it's like to be up 2-0 and then lose a NBA Finals. You just knew that they were ready for it, and I very much admire that kind of killer mentality, the job's not done mentality. And yeah, Jalen Brunson personifies that. I have to agree. I'm not a Knicks fan, so I'm not going to say he's the greatest Knick of all time, but he's the greatest Knick in my lifetime, at least.
I know it might be a prisoner of the moment take, but I'm pretty sure even Ewing and everyone that's a Knicks fan will say it. I've never seen people this ebullient and joyful as a Knicks sports fan in ages. And it's I have some opinions about the Knicks fans, which we
We
mean,
can talk a little bit
the
later.
quote unquote fans. We can get into that a little bit, when we talk our talk. But for the real diehard fans who suffered, the Spike Lees of the world, I tip my hat to you.
The
I
Ben
think they'll
Stillers, Timothy Chalamet.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's just talk about this then. Do you really? Okay. Let's not. We've been giving the Knicks a lot of credit here, and I'm sure the fans will love us right now as they're listening. But let's talk about the fans right now. And it's not in the way that I think a lot of those New York fans are going to think. It's about all the fans that seem to be LARPing as New York fans. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
You want me to give
Like
you an
who?
example? Okay.
Yeah.
I have never, ever seen Sydney Sweeney in New York's gear. I haven't seen her in any of the playoff games so far. And you would probably be able to tell when she's there. They'd probably make a big deal out of it like they did in Game 5. So when did all of a sudden she started wearing a Brunson jersey, going to San Antonio, watching the closeout game? When did that happen?
Did she actually do that? I had no clue.
Yeah, she did that.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
That's the
And
one
she
I'm
didn't
thinking
appear in the first 4 games.
Yeah. And I'm not like hating on her or anything, but
Just
she is
calling
an
it out.
archetype of basically what I've seen. All of a sudden, I've seen a bunch of Knicks fans that I've never seen before. And it's not just celebrities, even though it mostly is. That's the one I'm mainly annoyed about. But it's just a lot of people basically, oh, I've been a New York fan since, game 1 of the NBA Finals in 2026. Okay. I mean, it's nice and all, but don't pretend like you're a diehard. Don't pretend like you've been following the team forever, because, as true sports fans here, and I'll say it because I get to say it, we get emotionally distraught and die if we lose a NBA Finals game. It's not we'll win the next one. No, we are drained. I remember when we blew that 3-1 lead in 2016, I couldn't speak for like a week.
Let's not talk about that, shall we? But, I mean, Katie was a consolation, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I guess talking about the Knicks fans, okay.
My sports fandom is not your cosplay, okay? Don't wear a jersey if you're not a part of the team. If you are not a fan of the team, don't wear the jersey. I don't even know if that's
I see all
that's
these
a whole
people
different thing.
that
yeah.
transplanted to New York in the last year or so, and all of a sudden they're going to the Knicks sports bars and pretending to be diehard Knicks fans. Okay, yeah, sure, you can root for the Knicks, you can cheer because the city's going to go crazy, but stay on that side. Keep that same energy. When the Knicks are down, when they've been trash for years and years on end, when they were believing that Alonzo Trier was the next great Knicks phenomenon, that's when you're supposed to be a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? It really pisses me off when people start to just claim fandoms when, the tides are good. It really bothers me with the Warriors fandom too. I was a fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to basically have to show my credentials and stuff, but when the Warriors started getting good all of a sudden, and once they definitely got KD and the Splash Bros became a thing, and Steph Curry, that wasn't just that guy you think about when you think about Indian food and with the funny last name, those things are actually when fandom truly comes out. And it really bothers me to see the true Knicks fan. I mean, I'm so happy for true Knicks fans, but it really bothers me when someone just okay, you can be happy, but don't act like no.
You can be happy.
you can, but you're
okay, yeah. I don't want
to more than just I don't know, a cosplay moment or a LARP moment or just a trendy hot thing. It really is a lifestyle for people.
I don't want to
see people.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I see people on Instagram stories and they just fly over. I see them they go visit New York to see their friends, and that's totally fine. But they post on their story and act yeah, I've been a Knicks fan for they make it look like they've been in New York for so long, and they act yeah, I'm part of Knicks. Go New York, go. But man, stop switching sides, man, or stop switching up. I know earlier, I was rooting for the Knicks, but at the end of the day, I'm still a Warriors fan. But that just pisses.
Yeah, we need to confirm that too, Dylan.
But that pisses. But that pisses me off though. Just seeing I'm not gonna call it. I mean, it's just really annoying to me how people are just kind of they just fair weather fans to me. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, and I certainly don't want to gatekeep sports fandom, because I want to encourage every person ever to start to be fans of sports and enjoy the pain and the sorrow and experience basically everything that is a part of the experience, right? I just think that you can't necessarily just come out of nowhere when things are going good and just pretend like you've been a New York fan. Like, if I catch you in any other gear, in any other sports gear, you're done. You can't do this anymore. You can't be a fan of any of them anymore. At least until you actually pick one, right? That's what annoys me, because look, Ben Stiller, Timothée Chalamet, they've shown their credentials. They've been in every other, Knicks playoff series, whatever, for several years now, right? Whatever. Spike Lee, obviously, legend, courtside, forever. Taylor Swift, I'll give her sometimes, because there was like an old video of her with Amari Stoudemire and stuff like that. Sure, okay, I'll give you that. Then we're starting to get
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know. That's where I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit questionable. I haven't seen her rep New York a lot. Suni Lee, okay, she's from Minnesota, but she's been to a Knicks game. I don't know. Anne Hathaway, I guess. Sydney Sweeney was the one that did it. Like, I was like, there's no way. Like, I have no idea where you've ever gotten your connection with the Knicks from. Like, and you're showing up at the literal last game of this championship run, and you're gonna be like, and you're gonna wear all this stuff. I can still see the price tags on that jersey. Like, don't. And the biggest thing that annoys me, honestly, and in any sport, don't wear jerseys for fashion. Don't wear it just because you think the color looks good on you. Because once you put that shit on, you rep that team. And I'm going to assume that you're a fan of that team. Don't rep the Raptors throwback colors just because you like the purple, right? Because now I think you're a Raptors fan. And if you can't answer like, oh, how was the game? Oh, I don't watch basketball. Then fuck out of here. Don't wear the jersey. Don't wear the jersey if you don't want the questions.
When people wear the New York Yankees cap.
Yeah, that's some. I don't.
In the Bay Area.
Man, I don't like that. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. Like, I know people like to wear hats for fashion. That's a thing, but like every hat that I rep is very intentional. Like I love my Bay Area sports teams. I've been loving them my whole life. I'll always love them. It's like it's a way of life for me. And so when people just want to cosplay it because it's trendy, it really does bother me, because fans really do put a lot of time and energy, and obviously we're not the ones that are playing in the field and risking our lives and our bodies and like getting CTE or tearing our Achilles or any of that horrific stuff, but it's still something that we invest our effort into, and it is something that athletes need the fans too, and fans matter, and I think true fandom is what should matter, not just some trend where people just want to get excited because I love the side talk videos, but people just like want to just catch a little trend and catch a little meme and want to go crazy with it.
That's true.
But those OG Knicks fans videos from, when they were like saying F Trae Young way back when compared to like now, I know the people back then that were yelling F Trae Young were the real fans, are pulling up outside Penn Station, and they were just laughing off and just memeing, even though they might have not been the best team. But I love those fans. I don't love the people that just want to catch a trend and want to just be, acting all crazy and sing Bing Bong just because it's the meme and it looks cool and trendy and funny.
Yeah, you got a point, honestly. I wasn't even thinking about the viral kind of banger hunting, basically, like trying to get viral. Like, yeah, obviously, screw you guys. Like, don't do that. Like, if I was in New York and the Knicks won the championship, okay, I'd go out into the street. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'd go out into the street. I'd experience the joy and the fun and all of that. But yeah, if you're just doing it just to, try to get a couple, just to go viral, yeah, it's just not right. It's not organic, bro. Yeah. I heard of a tweet where there's a guy wearing like a Knicks jersey or a shirt or something, and then at the airport, and then the guy said, hey, did you catch the game 4? Like, it was a crazy game. And he's like, oh, what? Oh, I don't watch sports. And I'm like, okay.
What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here,
okay.
Dude. I'll be cheesed. I'll be pissed.
And it's like,
give me your jersey.
I think he's like, he rolled his eyes like, oh, I don't watch sports. He's like, get your hipster ass out of here. Take your jersey off right now. Pause. But I think that is everything we have basically on this championship recap. Miss anything that you really wanted to cover?
I mean, Cat played different. Cat was playing really well.
He was playing really well, but he didn't play well in game 4 and 5. He got into foul trouble again. Oh my god.
They were starting to double him too, because I think the Spurs quickly realized that he was playing the offensive hub role, and that was really wreaking havoc. So they would just double him, it felt like, every time. And I don't really think that they were looking to him around the 3. Like, he wasn't really posted up beyond the arc. He was always playing inside the paint. And I feel like it definitely helped having size for the interior, like a true center rather than the stretch forward that is his best role for sure offensively. But they just had different guys that could step up at that moment. But I think Cat really, really showed a lot of things. Like, he is so tough. He plays great defense, and he's a selfless player that's willing to do what it takes to win. And I think everyone in that lineup, him, Mikhail, Hart, Anunoby, Brunson, obviously, like, they all embody selfless basketball, and you can't tell the story of one without the rest of them. And I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, I have been very vocal of my opposition towards Cat and his ability to play winning basketball. I basically said that you could never win a championship with him as one of the main options. And obviously he proved me wrong, so he definitely has my respect for sure.
He can be zesty as much as he wants now.
No, he could always be that. But I mean, I'll never bet on him, but I've learned my lesson there. But he does have my respect. I'll stop trashing him as much. All right. Well, that is going to do it for today's NBA Finals recap. You can listen to all of our podcasts again on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast from. We are there. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Sports_Counsel on all of those platforms. Join our Discord. Link is in the bio to all of them. Discuss with us. That'll probably do it for our NBA coverage for a little bit. We'll probably have an episode to discuss the NBA free agency and the draft, which literally begins next week, by the way. So get ready for that. Offseason moves fast. And, no football, no basketball for the next couple months. We do have the FIFA World Cup, though, so, maybe we'll get an episode there. Hopefully.
That means more traffic for my work commute.
Yeah. Do you guys been watching any of the games or no?
Been watching all weekend. Yeah, I'm really trying to get into football this year. So, and I'm calling it football because I'm a purist and I'm a real football fan.
Boo.
The real football.
Larper.
Nah, man. I always support USA because I'm proud to be an American. That one song, but I'm really excited. I really just love how the World Cup has brought so many people together, and it's always a great time whenever it's on. And I'm really trying to get into like the tactics and the X's and O's of it this year. And so keeping up with some of the games is going to be fun. I'm actually going to a game, so I'm really excited for that.
Nice. Yeah, and maybe we'll have a little podcast for you then on the World Cup. And I'll stay tuned for that. But that is going to do it for today. Dylan, what are the skies looking like for the rest of the summer?
Looking orange and blue skies all summer.
Goodbye, everybody.
Next year, though, blue and yellow.
Gold.